So when we talk about digital accessibility and inclusion, and find that a lot of clients still see that as an afterthought, like a burden to their project. But the narrative is changing. Similar to the sustainability efforts that we see moving around the world, there is a lot more dialogue and emphasis on how we can turn digital accessibility into opportunities. In this video, I will share with you some of the inspiring thoughts that were shared by a panel of speakers at a dinner we organized last night. This will give you a fresh perspective on how you need to position your accessibility effort across your team and across your company for the next iteration of your digital products. Let's get to it. Hey, my name is Sylvain, and I use this channel to share some of the best practices I've discovered in the last 15 years of co-running an award-winning digital transformation agency. For everyone who's part of a team building website or SaaS application, I want you to become the hero of your team by making better decisions on your next digital project that will take your career to new heights. So as part of spreading knowledge and inspiring clients and associates and our staff, we brought together a panel of truly inspiring speakers at our industry event last night. We were joined by UX specialists, a gold medalist Paralympian, and two leading voices in the blind and disabled community. We got the chance to hear their views about digital inclusivity and accessibility and what it means for our industry in the next few years. It was really refreshing to see how the digital industry is really evolving, and more accessibility is no longer about compliance, but it's more about empathy, because we all need to deliver digital solutions that are inclusive where everyone can use them by default. So here are my 3 takeaways of the event. The first one is that accessibility helps innovation and creativity. We have real case studies of that. When we put accessibility at the heart of every design decision, it helps make the product better for everyone. It forces us to optimize the content and make it easy to understand and browse for all users. It's also important to remember that it's a very dynamic process at all stages of the development, and that it's never really done. Even after go live, it's ongoing. And to achieve this, my colleague Mira shared her tip about being very aware of who is not in the room when you make decision, who will be impacted by a specific change or a new feature. You always have to keep that in the back of your mind. The second point to highlight is that the technology is an enabler for all, not just for people with accessibility needs. One of the examples that was shared was how subtitles on TV were originally created for the hearing impaired. But recent studies have demonstrated and confirmed that it actually helps children learn to read better and faster. Another visually impaired speaker shared how her Amazon Alexa is actually her favorite companion at home. It helps her wake up in the morning, helps her get the news, helps her manage her schedule, shopping list, reminders. She couldn't live without it anymore. And looking at the most accessible brand in the world, Apple and the iPhone has been like a piece of magic for all of us, isn't it? But it even had a bigger impact for the visually impaired users who have been liberated by this piece of technology that allows them to do everything online. However, we need to be careful with this evolution. The new trends of touchscreen technology, for example, in elevator, has been a setback because we've lost the bright symbols on the buttons. And that takes me to my third point, which is about the need to continue educating everyone and not to repeat the same mistakes. And that's what I'm doing today. Over the last 30 years, for example, we've spent billions on retrofitting buildings with accessible ramps. In the last 10, 5, and even today, billions are being spent on technology and lawsuits to ensure that websites and apps are accessible and compatible with assistive technology. So when we talk about the future trends, self-driving cars will massively help blind users to get around. But there's also a lot of new technology that are at risk of forgetting some of those basic principles. For example, when we talk about the metaverse, how is that going to work for blind users or hearing impaired? Are we heading in the same direction with our hands in the sand and making the same mistakes? So we'll explore that in my next video. You can subscribe if you want to hear more about this. So to wrap up the evening, the dream of our speaker is that one day we won't have to talk about accessibility as a separate activity, that it will just be the norm for everything, for everyone, in every discipline, and that will be done by default. We're not there yet, but after the dinner and these inspiring talks, we all left and felt very empowered by the fact that there's so much progress being made and that the future is looking really bright. If you want to take digital accessibility more seriously, please watch my recent video about how this can be applied on a real digital project of building a website end-to-end and all the tips to implement best practices. Feel free to leave me some comments below or get in touch if you have any questions. And don't forget to subscribe to keep learning with me and grow your career in digital. Until next time, stay safe and see you soon.